The morning had started like any other for Elena, a 46-year-old cleaning lady who had spent most of her life working in silence, moving through empty halls and quiet rooms that belonged to people who rarely noticed her. But that day, something felt different even before she stepped inside the luxurious penthouse of Daniel Grayson, one of the city's youngest millionaires. The air felt heavier, almost charged, as if it knew a secret she didn't. Elena had no idea that within the next hour, she would stumble into a moment that would change both her life and Daniel's forever. She didn't know her hands would soon be shaking, her breath caught in her chest, and her eyes filling with tears as she stood in front of something no cleaning lady expected to find, an open safe overflowing with stacks of $100 bills. $2 million sitting in front of her, unguarded, untouched, waiting. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and humanity, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Thread. It helps spread more heart-touching stories like this. Elena's life had always been shaped by struggle. She had lost her husband 5 years ago to a sudden illness that drained every bit of savings the family had managed to gather over a lifetime. After his passing, her world shrank into a cycle of bills, double shifts, unpaid rent, and the constant fear of failing her 12-year-old son, Matteo. Every dollar mattered, every hour of work was survival. But despite the cracks that life carved into her spirit, Elena carried kindness like an invisible armor. She never complained, never blamed, and never let hardship turn her bitter. She continued working, hoping that someday, life would see her effort and soften its grip. Daniel Grayson, on the other hand, had everything, at least from the outside. His massive penthouse, luxury cars, and constant presence in financial magazines painted him as someone who had mastered life itself. But behind those walls, he lived a silent battle of his own. Daniel had grown up poor, clawed his way to success, and in that climb had lost pieces of himself. Trust didn't come easily to him anymore. The world had disappointed him too many times. The more money he made, the more he doubted the intentions of those around him. He kept people at arm's length, built walls instead of relationships, and lived life like a fortress, impressive, secure, but painfully lonely. That morning, Daniel had rushed out for an urgent meeting, leaving in such a hurry that he didn't even realize he had forgotten to lock the safe in his bedroom. The heavy door stood wide open, exposing rows of neatly stacked cash. Elena entered the room with her usual careful steps, humming softly under her breath, the sound echoing in the quiet space. But when she turned toward the wall to dust the shelves, her eyes froze on the safe. For a moment, she thought she was imagining it. She blinked twice, moved closer, and felt her heartbeat quicken. It was real. The safe was open. And inside, more money than she had ever seen in her life. Her breath shook as she crouched down, staring at the stacks that could change everything for her and her son. $2 million. She could pay off all her debts, find a safe home, get Matteo the treatment he needed for his chronic asthma, maybe even quit working 3 jobs. A single thought whispered through her mind, a dangerous, tempting thought: no one would know. But Elena wasn't built for secrets like that. Her conscience had always been her compass, even when life had nothing to offer but pain. She remembered her husband's final words: "Don't let the world change who you are." And she remembered Matteo, his innocent face, his belief that his mother was the kindest person on earth. What example would she set if she let this money steal her integrity? Slowly, Elena stood up, tears already forming, not from temptation, but from the painful reminder of how hard her life had become that such a thought even crossed her mind. She looked around and found a small notepad on the nearby dresser. Her hands trembled as she picked up a pen. She wrote slowly, her handwriting uneven, her emotions spilling into every word. She placed the note inside the safe, gently closed the heavy door, not locking it, just closing it, and stepped back. She cleaned the room as usual, wiped the counters, folded the blankets, and left without looking back, even though her heart felt heavier than ever. When Daniel returned home hours later, he walked straight to his bedroom to secure some documents he needed for another meeting. The moment he saw the safe door slightly ajar, his blood ran cold. His heart hammered against his ribs as he rushed forward. He expected emptiness, chaos, loss. But instead, he found the money untouched, perfectly stacked, exactly as he had left it, except for the small folded note placed right on top of the cash. He frowned, picked it up, and began reading. As his eyes moved line by line, the room blurred. The note read: "I found your safe open today. I didn't touch anything. I know what it's like to lose what little you have left. I've lost a husband, a home, and almost hope, but I will not lose my honesty. Some of us still believe in doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Elena. Daniel's breath hitched. His throat tightened. He read the note twice, then a third time, as the weight of her words sank in. Someone who had nothing had chosen not to take everything. In a world that had taught him to trust no one, this woman, a quiet cleaning lady with tired eyes and worn shoes, had just shown him a level of integrity he hadn't seen in years. He felt something break inside him. A wall he didn't even know he had been holding up began to crack. Daniel sat down on the edge of his bed, the note trembling in his hand as tears escaped despite his efforts to hold them back. He cried not because the money was safe, but because the kindness he thought no longer existed had found its way back to him through a woman who had every reason to give up on goodness. The next morning, Daniel waited for Elena. When she walked in, surprised to see him home, he approached her with a softness she had never seen in him. He told her he had read the note, and for the first time in years, he spoke with genuine emotion. He offered her not charity, but gratitude. He doubled her salary, paid off her debts discreetly, and arranged medical support for her son. But more importantly, he told her something she had forgotten to believe in: good people still matter. Years passed, and Elena's life changed, not because she found $2 million, but because she found a moment to choose who she truly was, and that choice had changed a millionaire's heart forever. Sometimes, the greatest fortune isn't money, but the impact a single act of honesty can create. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your support helps us bring more soul-stirring stories to the world. Before we end, comment below, do you believe one act of kindness can change someone's life?
No hay otra, es que no hay otra rivalidad en el mundo. Después, digan como que era. City United, boludeces. Pero el partido más importante de todos los años, de todo el fútbol, es el Superclásico. Eso sí, no hay otra con que dar. Vamos a estar disco con los pibes.